After this video, you will change the way you think about this world. Welcome to the video about human thinking and what we falsely believe is true. The first one is growth paradox. This paradox says that growth takes much longer time than you think it does, but then it happens faster than you ever thought possible. Growth happens gradually, then suddenly, slowly, and all at once. And we can see this on an example of language learning, let's say. So when you start as a complete beginner from scratch, it takes hours of drilling of basic grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, and this phase of learning the basics can take months, if not even years, to get the grasp of the language. It's the most difficult to start from scratch because you don't know anything. You listen to music, you play a TV show and you don't understand anything. That's the day one of your language learning. But then something happens and you suddenly start building the fluency out of these basics which you accumulated over the years. So you start to think in your target language, you start to dream in your target language, you will have conversations with native without any issues, and this is all happening much more quicker than the initial phase when you had to learn the vocabulary and the grammar and the special cases which exist in every single language. That took time, but then something happened and the growth expanded. The second one is persuasion paradox, and have you ever noticed that people who can argue the best are the ones who can listen the best, and they ask thoughtful questions. They argue less and persuade more. The persuasion is an art and it is a paintbrush rather than a hammer. A real life example of persuasion paradox is parenting. There is an argumentative approach and persuasive. Parents who constantly argue with their children about rules and discipline using strictly authoritative style, they might face rebellion and defiance, whereas parents who take time to understand their child's perspective and they talk to them, actively listen, they are much less likely to argue with their kids, but it will develop better relationship because they talk, and we can see how persuasion doesn't necessarily equal being dominant and talking a lot. This empathetic approach encourages better understanding and communication in any area of life, not just parenting. So observe this paradox in your daily life and you will see how often you can see this persuasion versus authority collide. And when you think about it from the right way, you can use it to your advantage. You can think about this in many situations in your daily life, so next time you approach a situation from a slightly more persuasive rather than authoritative, argumentative way, you can think of this paradox. Empathetic approach to persuasion is often much more effective than authoritative argumentation. The next one is my favorite, and that's the productivity paradox. Work more, get less done. This is based on the Parkinson's law, which says that the work expands with time allotted to its completion. When you establish fixed hours to work on a project, you will find unproductive ways to fill that time. Work instead like a lion. Sprint, rest, and repeat. We can apply this paradox to any type of creative work. Let's say you're writing a book. You can take the marathon approach or you can take the sprint approach. Marathon approach is someone who sits down at the beginning at 6 a.m. in the morning and decides to write his book the whole day. And at the end of the day, the writer will see that the productivity decreased, that they felt burned out and the quality of the work was much lower. On the other hand, a person who approaches the whole book writing as a sprint will dedicate, let's say, 2 hours when the focus will be truly on book writing without any distractions from social media, notifications, nothing. You just focus for 2 hours very, very well on that one task at hand, which is in this case book writing, and then you rest. And then you repeat another set of 2 hours and you repeat these blocks of deep work. That's so much better. And you see that this paradox is something what people think that when you do more of it, it's better, but that's not the case. When you work more, you can get exhausted more easily. So think about this paradox when you study for an exam or work on any big project that you think that, okay, now I need to work on this a lot because it's a capstone, it's a final project. No, sprint, rest, and repeat. Sprint approach relies on this shorter session during which you put everything into the session and you see how your creativity is so much better because you concentrate for a shorter period of time and then you can recharge and start again. The next one is fear paradox. This paradox says that the thing you fear the most is the one you need to do the most. The thing is that fears, when avoided, become limiters on your progress. Instead, treat your fears like magnets to an energy, and every time you combat some of your fears, you get closer to your final goal, whatever it is. So do next time something challenging, which you're a little bit scared of, but just do it and you will see how it completely changes the way how you approach that specific task, how you suddenly feel like you achieved something even though you have not achieved the actual thing you set for yourself. But you eliminated some part of your fear that was holding you back. Albert Einstein once said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know." This quote introduces the wisdom paradox. The more you learn, the more of unknown you discover, and the more you study a subject in depth, you see how on a superficial level you are and how much there is to explore. Important lesson from this paradox is to not be discouraged or frightened by this unknown and by this immense amount of information you don't know, but rather empowering how much there is still out there to learn. This paradox is great to show us that we should embrace lifelong learning rather than focusing purely on one goal that we have. It's about lifelong learning, so embrace this feeling of unknown and enjoy it. This can apply to your personal life and your studying, but also to some global challenges we face. Addressing global challenges like climate change, poverty, or social injustice requires interdisciplinary collaboration, innovation, and systemic change. Yet solutions to these challenges often reveal the interconnectedness and the need for collective action. This global wisdom that is needed to solve these global challenges is only accumulated through leadership, active engagement, and advocacy, which can be only achieved by embracing lifelong learning and open interdisciplinary dialogue across the whole world. The next paradox is my favorite one, and it is the effort paradox. This paradox says that all those elegant, effortless performances that we can see are a result of a gritty, consistent hard work. You have to put in a lot of effort to make something look effortless. So simple is not simple, and small things become big things over time. When you take a look at the best NBA players or any type of sports people who you admire, it looks so effortless when they are out there on the field, playing the game. It looks so easy. And you might wonder, I want to be like that. But then when you look at the behind scene, the hours they put in every single day, even when they don't feel like it, even when they feel like they want to sleep and they want to do nothing, they go out, they train, and they do this to make sure that their performance appears effortless when you see them out there on the field. And this paradox in sports excellence applies to any other area of life. When you look at someone successful, you might fall into the trap of this paradox that you feel like there is some luck or unfair advantage that this person has. But in reality, that person puts so much work to achieve where they are right now. So instead of envy, think about this paradox and the way how you think about other people's luck instead of effort that was put in for hours and hours of hours over a longer period of time. Another paradox is really good one. This is advice paradox, which basically says in simple words, advice sucks. And this is true because often happens that more advice will leave you even less well prepared. Even though if it's well intentioned, using someone else's navigation can just leave you confused. This is not true, of course, for all advice. I'm talking about excessive advice, let's say in the area of health and fitness. Paradox is that when you try to find out more about your health and you consult different trainers, different resources, you watch videos, you read books, you do online courses, you may end up more confused. So listening to influencers, doctors, nutrition experts, you will end up with no clarity and so much confusion that you will not move on in life. This is because of all the possible different diets, exercise routines. It's too much out there. You need to choose one and navigate with it your life rather than take all this advice and trying to make something new out of it. So it's better to do one resource, one nutrition expert, one doctor, and then go that way and stick to one diet plan, stick to one workout plan, rather than listening to everyone and not getting anywhere. Winners develop filters by focusing on evidence-based practices supported by scientific research and their own individual experimentation. You should recognize that health advice should always be tailored to individual needs, so any advice that you receive from experts out there on the internet, you need to apply to your own situation so it can be really helpful to you. Winners develop these filters that that allow them to skip the noise and focus on well-selected advice. Common example of this paradox from daily life is asking for help. The fear of appearing weak or being rejected prevents you from asking for help, which may hinder your progress, and you will stay where you are, you will not move on, you will not grow. But when you ask for help, what's the worst thing that can happen? Someone can say no, and then you just move on. You will feel so much stronger when you combat this fear and you try to make this decision. It can be a tiny one every single day. Just find something every single day that you are a bit scared of, that you feel that there is the aspect of fear, and just do that small step. Ask that person. Write an email. Do it. By reaching out for support, you can achieve your goals faster because other people can provide you with resources and materials that can help you get to that goal. The step of asking for help can help you solve your problems more easily. You will strengthen your relationships and reduce your stress. That's it for today's video. We can see that there are so many paradoxes. These are just few that I found the most interesting, but there is a whole list out there which you can observe in your daily life, but as you saw in this video, there are in many areas, everywhere. So just keep your eyes open and see these paradoxes in your day-to-day life. And let me know in the comments which paradox resonates the most with you and that you can see that it applies a lot in your life, and maybe how you can change this paradox and change the way how you think about a paradox so you can become better. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!